My brother had always assumed our family dynamics granted him an unspoken privilege, but when he showed up at my villa with a rowdy group of friends, I felt the familiar sting of entitlement. The air was crisp that evening, but tension clung to every corner of my estate as I watched them laugh and push through the gate as if it belonged to them. Memories of his past invasions, each one met with a smile I forced on the outside, while boiling inside resurfaced. Every insult, every dismissive comment from years gone by, every shadow of superiority he cast over me, now seemed to converge in that moment. I stood at the balcony, tracing the golden lights of the villa against the night sky, trying to breathe past the surge of frustration. This was my space, my sanctuary built with sweat, late nights, and determination he never understood. And yet here he was, barging in, acting as if my success was his playground. I remembered the dinners where he mocked my decisions, the gatherings where he laughed at my expense, the holidays where I was the invisible sibling. Each memory added weight to the resolve forming in me. Hey, if you enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit the bell. Your support means everything and helps me keep creating. Thank you so much. I knew that confrontation wasn't about shouting or slamming doors. It wasn't about proving myself to him or even to anyone else. It was about establishing a line he could no longer cross. Watching him gesture wildly to his friends, oblivious to the magnitude of what I had built, I realized the time for subtle hints and patient tolerance had passed. Something had to change tonight, and I had to control the way it unfolded. Every detail mattered. The tone, the timing, the subtle demonstration of authority that would make him understand. Finally, that this villa, my life, my accomplishments were mine alone, and no one, not even a brother, could overstep. I descended the marble staircase slowly, my heels clicking against the polished floor, each step echoing like a drumbeat of warning. My brother and his friends had begun exploring the villa, their laughter echoing through the halls, mocking in a way that made my blood boil. They ran their hands over the furniture, inspected the art pieces, and even dared to poke at my custom wine collection as if they had been invited. I stopped just inside the grand entrance, letting my presence settle over the room like an invisible weight. "Hey," I called out, voice calm but firm, carrying the authority I had earned over the years. "This is private property." The laughter halted. My brother turned slowly, trying to mask surprise with a smug grin. "Come on, it's just a bit of fun. We're family, aren't we?" I shook my head, letting the smile on my lips stay polite, though it didn't reach my eyes. Family doesn't mean permission to invade someone else's home. And you, of all people, should know that better than anyone. He scoffed, stepping closer, attempting intimidation. "You think you're better than me now? Because you bought a villa?" I let him approach, calmly letting the moment stretch. Then I raised my hand, subtly pressing the smart security button hidden in my palm. Doors locked automatically, lights dimmed strategically, and soft alarms whispered in the corners of the house. Not enough to call attention outside, but enough to let them know they weren't in control. The friends froze, exchanging uneasy glances. My brother's grin faltered. "I worked for this," I said, quietly, deliberately pacing toward him. "Every brick, every wall, every feature here. My effort, my time, my sacrifices. And no amount of entitlement or past history changes that." He tried to recover, waving his hands. "Relax. Don't get all dramatic. It's a house, not a castle." I smiled, letting a hint of humor mask the steel beneath. "A castle?" I asked. "Funny. That's exactly what you'll leave here if you don't behave properly. But I think you'll learn the hard way tonight." The friends glanced at each other, their bravado cracking as I continued. "You've never seen this side of me, have you? The side that enforces boundaries. The side that turns jokes into lessons. The side that proves you can't just assume power because of blood alone." I motioned subtly toward the bar. Please have a seat. Let's talk like civilized adults. My brother's jaw tightened, clearly struggling to maintain his smug posture. The friends muttered, unsure what to do next. I took my time, pouring glasses of water with deliberate grace, letting the tension build. Every movement measured, every word calculated. You see, I said softly, this isn't about me showing off or trying to humiliate you. This is about respect, something you failed to show for years. And tonight, in my home, you'll learn what that really means. He laughed nervously, attempting to brush off the moment, but I could see it in his eyes, the first cracks in his confidence. I leaned in slightly, letting my voice drop to a near whisper. You think money or connections matter? Try owning responsibility. Try respecting boundaries. Try understanding what it means to earn something, to protect it, and to appreciate it. That's why you're standing here uncomfortably, and I am calm. The room went silent, save for the faint hum of the security system and the soft clinking of ice in glasses. His friends avoided eye contact, realizing the gravity of the situation. My brother shifted on the spot, realizing that the table had turned. And yet the most important lesson hadn't been delivered fully. He needed to see the consequences of his actions in real terms to feel that the rules had changed and that I, not him, dictated what was acceptable here. I gestured toward the main hall. Let's walk slowly. There are things you need to understand about this house, about boundaries, about consequences. He followed. Reluctantly, each step weighted with realization. I let him pass the rooms, pointing out the security features, the cameras, the invisible locks, explaining calmly and clearly that the villa was no playground. The friends started to see the gravity and silently apologized to me with their eyes. By the time we reached the terrace, overlooking the manicured gardens and sparkling pool, my brother's face had drained of color. I turned to him, letting the evening wind ruffle my hair. This villa, my life, my rules, I said, remember it, respect it, and perhaps next time you'll think twice before barging in, assuming entitlement is enough to override hard work and integrity. The night had shifted. The balance of power, once skewed toward arrogance and ignorance, was now unmistakably mine. And for the first time in years, my brother realized that blood did not automatically grant privilege. By the time we reached the terrace, my brother was pale, his smugness gone. I looked him in the eye and said, "This is my home, my rules. You don't get to disrespect me here or anywhere else." His friends muttered apologies, and he opened his mouth, then closed it, realizing no words would fix what he had done. I handed him a glass of water and let the silence speak. For the first time, he saw me not as the sibling he could push around, but as someone who had earned her place and could protect it. "I hope you learned something tonight," I said calmly. "Respect isn't given because of blood or entitlement. It's earned, and it can be lost in a second." He nodded slowly, defeated but understanding the lesson finally. That night, I reclaimed control, not just of my home, but of my life. From then on, any attempt to cross boundaries would meet the same firm, unshakable resistance.